Hello and welcome to How Would You Rate Your Pain? We will be exploring life, loss, love, and the power of resilience. I am Dr. Tiffany Bartell. Thank you for listening, and I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Hello and welcome to another episode of How Would You Rate Your Pain? I am Dr. Tiffany Bartell, and I'm here with my new friend.
Gino D, yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're currently doing.
Sure.
You're repping well for those who are watching on YouTube.
Yeah. I figured I'd have to wear some type of branding just to make sure everybody knows. Because that's where they start putting it together. It's funny. I'll be in the grocery store and talking to the clerk or something, or even just somebody in the store, and I can always see people walk by and they kind of like perk up. As if like, why do I know him? Why do I know that voice? And it's because I'm on the radio. I'm on Hits 96.5 on your radio dial here in Chattanooga, hits96.com. And I do the afternoon show from 2 to 7. I'm hosting the afternoon show. I'm also the music director of the radio station as well as the program director. So I've been in Chattanooga now for about 3.5 years, give or take. And it's been great so far. It's been a wonderful experience.
So we're both transplants from different places. And ironically, it was just yesterday that I realized that we're transplants from relatively the same place.
Right. Yeah. Southern New Hampshire. Yeah.
That's right. So I moved to Nashua, New Hampshire, which is right on the border of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, when I was 7. And so it's so close, and you've probably been there, that the mall, the shopping center is in New Hampshire because there's no tax, and the parking lot's in Massachusetts.
It is. It's right on the line. Yeah.
And you're from Salem.
I'm from Salem, New Hampshire. Yeah. I was basically born in the next city over because that's right also on the line in Methuen, Mass. But other than that, I grew up and was raised and went to school and everything in Salem, New Hampshire. So
I've been there so many times.
A couple of New Englanders here.
We are. We may hear some like wicked smart and stuff
people pointed out. I'm sure people listening already was like, okay, he ain't from around here. I got that a lot, actually, especially the first couple of days on the radio.
Do they think you talk too fast sometimes?
A little bit fast. Okay. It's more of just knowing that I'm not from here.
Yeah.
It was the idea of just different, but a little bit different accents. You know, I had to learn some of the cities around here, some of the different words for towns and things of that nature.
Yeah.
You know?
And if they ask if you want a Coke at the restaurant, they also serve other sodas other than Coke.
Yes, exactly. Also getting used to the southern hospitality that's around here. Up in New England, it's different. They're kind, but you kind of have to earn it a little bit up there, a little bit more.
Sure.
Here, people are willing to just do whatever you need them to do and willing to help right away. I remember moving into my apartment. I didn't have much, but I remember moving stuff in, and the neighbors came right over and said, "You need any help?" And for me, again, being from New England, it was like, "No, I'm good." You don't need to come in. I don't even.
Are they casing my house?
I was like, "What's going on here?" But I've learned that the people down south are just super kind and nice, and I really have been welcomed with open arms. Even though being on the radio and kind of being a guy from out of town, they've really taken, it was so welcoming. It was so nice feeling to be everybody would call and say, "Welcome to the area. If you need anything, let me know." And it was just like, wow, this place is pretty remarkable in that sense.
Well, and for being here only 3.5 years, every person I've encountered that knows you, you're very beloved in the community.
Thank you, yeah. Try to be.
Yeah, and I think so you settled well into the Southern spirit.
It's been real easy. It really has. And I think with the job that I do with Hits 96, I've been able to kind of open up doors a lot easier maybe than somebody else. I've been able to go to a lot of the venues and talk to the kind of the movers and shakers that are in the city right away. And that's been makes it a lot easier when you can talk to the people that know the people, and it just kind of all falls together.
Well, that's a good segue, because I think to be able to maximize those opportunities, you have to be able to talk to people. And that seems like something that you are not only just good at, but you also enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. I consider myself an introvert.
Okay.
And I think if you listen to me on the radio, or if you see me at an event that I'm hosting, people are like, "What? There's no way." But when it comes to like going to a small gathering, or if even some type of party or mixer type of thing, I am kind of a guy that will kind of sit chill in the corner and kind of people watch, and I'll converse or whatever and talk to people, but it's I don't have to be the center of attention at all times. And there's so many people in radio that are like that. Put a microphone in their face, they won't shut up. They're going to keep talking, and you'll be able to get anything out of them. But other than that, you have to kind of almost go over to a little bit and have a little bit more of a private conversation before you can start I don't know, doing things.
Opening it up.
I've been opening up a little bit since it takes time, but I think that's the New England in me. That just takes a little bit of time, a little bit more time to warm up.
It is. Yeah, my sister calls me a social introvert because I'm very extroverted if it's for connection. Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious and interested in people, but I definitely need that like alone recharge time. Yes. And I don't mind being still and like on my own.
That social battery is very important.
Yeah.
Social battery. And I learned about the social battery from my girlfriend, actually. She's very social and bubbly. And if you ever met her, she's such an extrovert. And like, she just loves people and she's so likable. Everybody just falls for her real quick. And but then she'll come to me and be like, my social battery is low. We got to get out of here. So she can feel that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think everybody has that, but some people maybe not as in tune.
Yeah.
So that's been a great little thing. But yeah, the social battery is important.
Social battery. Yeah. I got to put that in my pocket.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what brought you from Salem, New Hampshire, that journey into radio and journey into the South.
Sure. Yeah. We talked a little bit before, but what was happening is I went to school in Salem, New Hampshire, like I've mentioned. I wasn't a bad student, but wasn't the greatest of students. And it was 2004 is when I graduated. So it was before kind of the 2008 thing. And before college was the next step.
Right.
It was like, if you weren't going to college, then you were making a mistake, and I know that's not true, but that's how you felt.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any interest in any trades or anything like that. So, okay, I'm going to college. My friends are going, I'll go to college. I had no desire or pathway. I didn't know what to do.
So no passion.
I was just like, career. I know I have to go to college, but I don't know what for.
Yeah.
So I was kind of lost in that sense. And you have that, stereotypical meeting with your guidance counselor. And we sat down and we're going through the transcript, through the grades. And like I said, I didn't have great grades, but I didn't have bad grades. It was just kind of a mix. But I seemed to excel in English. So he suggested, oh, there you go. You'll be an English teacher. And I literally said, okay. Like it was just, all right, here we go. So English major, when I applied to schools, I was so lazy and bad about it. Again, because I didn't have any drive to really do this.
Not really motivated.
Yeah, it was no motivation. So I think I applied to schools where I didn't have to write an essay. I mean, it was really like that simple of a process for me. Long story short, I ended up going to Salem State. It was Salem State College at the time, but now it's Salem State University in Salem, Massachusetts, not to be confused with Salem, New Hampshire. And I went there for about 2 years. And after halfway through the second year, I took a public speaking course with a professor named Professor Stern. He was not Howard Stern. I've heard that joke numerous times. But I took a public speaking course with him. At the end of the course, aced it. And at the end of the course, he said, what is your career path? What are you trying to do with your life? And I told him, honestly, I was like, I think I'm going to be an English teacher. That's the path I'm on. That's the classes I'm taking and whatever. And he says, if you really want to teach, you can teach at any time of your life and find a way to teach. He said, but I suggest, from what I've seen from you, to go into communications and more importantly, radio broadcasting. He goes, I think you'd really excel at that. I think you'd enjoy it from what I know about you from this class.
That's amazing.
And he kind of shattered the glass for me. And looking back, my mom even said that when I was a kid, I used to walk around with a little tape recorder and do fake interviews with my brother and be able to interview everybody and make noise, like all kinds of stuff like that. So obviously I had a knack for it, or at least a desire to do some stuff like that. But he was the one that really shattered the glass and was like, you should try this. And I was like, you know what? Why wouldn't I?
Right.
So I took a few more courses at Salem State and tried to kind of dip in a little bit. And I realized there's got to be something better. It's nothing against Salem State College. They just didn't have what I was looking for. So I found a radio school up in Bangor, Maine. It was called the New England School of Communications. They're on the campus of Husson College up in Maine.
Yeah.
And they basically run their school like a professional facility. So they have audio facilities, they have audio engineering, they have a radio station.
That's
they just
amazing.
ran everything as if it was legit.
Yeah.
So when I became a member of their radio broadcasting program, it was like running a radio station.
So practical.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like such a real world experience, but no pressure of the real world. You could just have fun and hanging out with your radio friends. And we did morning shows and we get the whole bit. And I got the bug then, and that was the end of that. I knew, I was like, okay, so I found my path.
Yeah.
I was told it's a labor of love. It's nobody's going to get rich. There's a few people out there that have been able to do it, but a lot of people are just kind of doing it because it's a labor of love. You have to love it.
Yeah.
And anybody that was trying to think about doing radio or something in that realm, if you're not enjoying it, then it's not worth it, in my opinion. In my opinion. I'd rather tell you, become a lawyer or go to school and get a doctorate or something. I don't know. Do something that's going to pay the bills a little bit better, because it's an interesting game, radio. Like I said, labor of love.
I love how practical that school was. I feel like if more degree paths could find a way to get you doing what you really want to do earlier in the program, it would probably be much more rewarding to go to school.
It was great. I mean, that was the best part about it. And granted, I did take a few, since I did go to Salem State, I was able to kind of get electives out of the way.
Okay,
and some general eds. And then when you go to the school, and they did that same stuff too, but I was able to kind of pass all that. So as soon as I went into it, I jumped right into it. I mean, the first day of class, I was in a radio studio, learning the equipment and, basically just learning the ins and outs of what radio is and how it's going. And it was a blast. I mean, it was so much fun. And, it wasn't, you have homework, but it was to go and produce a radio spot and, find an interview to do. And like, it was just the stuff. It's like, this is wild. This is where you're learning and still doing it. I did 3 great years there. And then when I graduated, I had an opportunity. I worked in Portsmouth, New Hampshire for a little while. For part-time. My first job was part-time, like $8 an hour, which they told us in school, radio, you're going to have to start from the bottom. You start from the bottom. So I was doing that, and then I had an opportunity to move with some friends who were trying to pursue music at the time. They were going to LA.
Okay.
And they said, we have a spot. If you want to join us, we'd love to have you.
You couldn't get farther. Like, I don't think there's a farther point in the United States.
Exactly.
Maybe Hawaii.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I wanted it. And I was like, you know what? I love pop culture, movies, the whole thing. I mean, it was just the stereotypical dream of LA. So I was like, I'm going. I mean, it was a perfect opportunity to go with friends. So it wasn't like I was going out there by myself. I had a backup plan. In fact, my friend Chris, I think he ended up paying my rent for the first 2 or 3 months just to help me out, because at one point I was just like, okay, I spent all my money to get here, and now we got to find a job, and it was a process.
How was it to find a job in a place that you were just dropping into?
It wasn't as bad as you could probably think. I'm sure other people have had worse luck. Maybe I got lucky. I did retail while I was also doing radio, and I worked at an Old Navy.
That's amazing.
So that was the cool part, is that I actually reached out to Old Navy and said, I'm moving to Los Angeles. Yeah. Is there any way that there's any possible transfer? And they said, we can't directly transfer you, but we can give you a reference. And then if you go in and say that you've had experience, you probably get a good shot. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So I was able to get a retail job rather quickly. Yeah. And that at least was helping with the bills and the move.
Made it a little bit less tight.
Yeah. And then from there, I was able to kind of apply to different radio stations, and that's really where I wanted to get into it. I was told right off the bat, though, in every interview I did for LA radio, they're like, you're not going to get on the air. Like, straight up.
Okay.
It's not going to happen, at least right away.
Okay.
It's a process, and there's so many people here that want to be on the air. Obviously, you're in Hollywood,
Yeah.
So you're going to have to learn a lot of behind the scenes and settle for that, because it's a process to learn. And I was okay with that. I didn't have a problem doing that. So I ended up working for a news talk station out there. I started off as an overnight board op, which is just basically glorified babysitting to make sure the station stayed on the air late at night.
Yeah.
So I did that for a while. There I met someone who was actually introduced me to a station called K-Rock. For those that haven't been to LA, it's the world famous K-Rock. It's an alternative rock station that has just broke every rock artist you can think of.
Wow.
And I was able to get a weekend gig with them doing the same thing. Board hopping, glorified, but it was early mornings on Saturday and Sunday.
So you had no social life. You were working every night.
As I'm out there, I was working 80-hour weeks or close to it, and basically just working and back and forth between the 5 days at News Talk and then the 2 days at K-Rock. And then if I could get a concert in, because that was the perk of working at K-Rock, you get all the concert tickets.
Oh,
so I saw so many bands and so many experiences like that, met so many people. So it was worth it. And, to me at the time, too, I was only 24, 25. I mean, I was like, let's do it.
Who needs to sleep?
Yeah. So I went there, did that for quite a while. With the News Talk station, I worked my way up and ended up being an executive producer of their morning show.
Wow.
So I was getting up again now early during the day and on the weekend. So it was like 7 days a week. I was up at 4 a.m.
Wow.
It was wild. I think back now, and I do afternoons now for a reason.
Yeah.
I can sleep in a little bit.
Yeah. You sleep when it's dark outside, and that must be really great.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
And so that was a thing. But again, I always had that passion since college and everything was to be on the air. I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to try the interviews. I wanted to do that.
Mm-hmm. How long were you in LA?
So about 6 years, 5-6 years.
That's a long time. Yeah.
I enjoyed my time immensely. In fact, now with all the fires that are going on and everything, I've checked in with some friends, and most of them are okay. A couple have lost their homes, sadly, and it's like you can only give so much and just hope and give them good thoughts. Mm-hmm. I lived in an area in Burbank, and I looked at their map, and I think I would have been surrounded by, if I was out there still, surrounded by wildfires. But the actual area I lived never got evacuated or anything. Oh. But I think I would have just been worried the whole time. I can only imagine what those people went through or going through. So anyway, but I did live in that area for about 5-6 years. And then all of a sudden I got a phone call from a station back in New Hampshire. A buddy of mine got a job, somebody that I graduated with, and he's like, they're looking for a program director and a morning show host, and it's a privately owned company, so it's not a lot of red tape to jump through, and he's willing to hire. So I had a couple phone interviews with him, a couple conversations, and it took me a little bit to kind of settle and say, okay. At first, I think it was a step back in my mind. Yeah. Because I'm like, I'm in Tinseltown. I'm here. Like, this should be where it's happening. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have any opportunity to kind of cut my teeth.
Right.
So I went back. I went back home. It was, I say home. It was northern New Hampshire, but it was closer to New Hampshire. So I was able to see family again. And I went back a few times, like holidays and stuff. But it was nice to kind of go back full time and only be a couple hours away instead of a couple plane rides away.
Yeah.
And I did that for about another 5-6 years at a top 40 radio station. That's when I really learned the ins and outs of top 40 radio. Mm-hmm. I was able to, I had the best morning show 2 years from the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters, which was really great. That was a huge deal because we were this small independent station up in the mountains, and then there's like Manchester, New Hampshire.
There's a lot of radio in New Hampshire. A
lot of radio. Yeah. So to win that and be a kind of a rookie at it was awesome. Awesome moment.
How was it for you to get on the air and to like be doing the thing that you had wanted to do?
There's an electricity to it that, and I don't think everybody experiences it. I do think there's kind of just you find it, and it's like your bug. Because I think some people could do it and be like, okay, that was cool, but I don't know if this is for me. Yeah. I loved every moment of it. The bad, the good, the ugly. I enjoy just every aspect of it. I think it's a remarkable thing. I think radio is just so cool and personal and much like a podcast. It's just there's something about it that's just a little bit different than, say, TV or any other experience. Yeah. So I loved doing it. I mean, that was the dream. Yeah. That was what it was. That's the opportunity. And I was able to do the show with a good friend of mine, somebody I graduated with. His name was Mower. And so I was able to hang out with a friend.
Oh, that's so fun.
And we had such a great time of just kind of making up funny little bits. And we did the phone call thing, and we would have guests and play games, and all for fun. And we were killing it out there. We were really doing so well. He ended up going off to another job. COVID hit. Yeah. And it was a lot. And we didn't shut down. We survived COVID. And it was one of those things. But at the end of all that, I realized I think I need more, something a little bit bigger. Yeah. Go to more of a serious market when then they actually kind of care about the ratings. I was interested in that. As much as that, some people will be like, well, why did you want to go and get, not criticized, but rated? You
want to be challenged and you want to see what do they like, what do they not like, and have it measurable. Yeah.
During COVID, which was a weird time to do it because everybody was like, whoa. I blanketed emails and resumes. I just sent it to everybody. There was a great website that had all of the radio gigs that you could ask for. On the air, off the air, whatever. I was going for on, obviously, but I was just shooting emails. I mean, I think I had a couple of phone interviews with Washington, like the state, Washington State. Oh, wow, okay. Had a few interviews with people in Georgia, actually. There was a bunch that answered. Some went farther than others, and then there's a lot of stations too that didn't want to necessarily pay to send me out there, and because that's part of the deal, because being from outside. And Chattanooga answered the call, though.
Yeah.
Sent an email to Chattanooga, sight unseen. Wow. I was like, I wanted the afternoon gig. Plus, it was the music director spot, which was something I had interest in.
So it was for this position that you have now.
Yeah, it was the same. Okay. So I was like, I know this. It's a top 40 station.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same game. It's the same wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. So I applied, a few Zoom interviews and such, and they said...
So you didn't come to Chattanooga
didn't come once before I moved.
That's amazing.
Yeah, completely blind. And I did it by myself this time around, which was wild because when I did to LA, it made it so much easier.
Sure, yeah.
But I think I just wanted out of where I was. I loved my time in New Hampshire. The station I worked for was great and everything, but I just knew I was hitting a ceiling that I was never going to bypass.
Right. Well, sometimes comfortable is not what you're looking for in a career that you're passionate about.
I needed more. And I was still, and I felt like I was still young enough to kind of be able to pull this off one more time, at least one more time, a big move. So I moved.
You still have some years left. I'm older than you.
No, absolutely. And I understand that.
Also, but stay in Chattanooga because I think everybody wants you here. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, so, because I've been asked before, I think it was actually over Christmas break when I went to see my dad. He's like, I'm surprised that you're still planning on kind of sticking around.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm going to turn 40 at the end of this year. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I like it so much that I don't want to go. And that wasn't the same. Even in LA, I always felt like I was waiting for the next step. Mm-hmm. In New Hampshire, I was definitely waiting for like, okay, where do I go from here? It's like a stepping stone. And Chattanooga can feel that way sometimes, but not as much.
Yeah.
I also now have a serious girlfriend here, so that helps kind of solidify things. And
community.
Her and her family are doing amazing things. That's a podcast that you should do with them.
Oh.
It's very cool. I'll tell you more.
Okay, we'll talk after.
Yeah, we'll talk after. But the whole thing, Chattanooga just seems to be a nice place to kind of settle, and it's been working so far. Mm-hmm. So I started the afternoon gig in June of 2021, and here we are.
Here you are.
Yeah, doing the afternoon show. Yeah. About 2 years later, I ended up getting... graciously, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters named me for a small market of the best radio personality in Tennessee.
That's amazing.
Which was a huge honor and came so fast. I was like, me? The guy from New Hampshire? Only been here for a year and a half? You're going to give me the award for best in Tennessee?
That was like your 5-year plan, I think you said, right?
Well, because I did it in New Hampshire twice in the 6 years that I was there. And I thought, that'd be a cool thing to win again in a different state.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to apply, and I think I applied once and nothing, and then the second time I got it, and it was just a crazy. I never imagined. I thought I would do that a few more times before they, gave it to me, or if ever.
Well, and how validating of like transplanting to do the thing you're passionate about, and then having people say, "We really like what you're doing."
Yeah. No, it was great. Cool. I mean, the whole point. Yeah, I will say that Hits 96 has been so great in the sense of letting me hit the ground running and letting me kind of do what I want to do, which is rare in radio, especially nowadays, that you always have to answer the higher ups, and there's and I have a little bit of that, but nothing like working at a bigger company.
You have a lot of freedom.
So that's been always a nice thing to be able to go in and try different things. I've set up different guests. I've had different segments that some have come, some have gone, some have stayed around. But that's the beauty of it. Nothing's permanent. It's just kind of a trial. And if it connects with the audience, if we're hitting, then we'll keep it. If it's not, then we'll say goodbye after a certain point. It's been so much fun, though.
I love this.
And that's the point of this whole thing. And I tell anybody that wants to get into radio or any type of format of this type of entertainment, it's just as long as you love it.
Yeah.
As long as you're getting that cup filled in that sense. Because if not, then move on to something else that is going to fill your cup. I always use the story of I learned from my dad. My dad was a laborer his whole life. Did the same, worked for Methuen, the town of Methuen, Massachusetts.
I know where that is.
Yes.
I've been to Methuen.
He would plow, he'd cut down trees. He worked for the labor department. So he worked for the town. And he did it for 40 years, worked his way up in the 40 years, but he was just doing the same job, essentially. It was always that same stuff. And he was miserable. Like as a little boy growing up watching, I mean, he was a very loving dad and the whole thing, but you could just tell he hated going to his job. Woke up 5 a.m. every morning, would be there till 3, 4 in the afternoon, would come back, he'd be exhausted, dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, he worked hard. And there's nothing against hard labor. I honor all of those men and women that do that. It's incredible to be able to do it every single day.
We need it.
Seeing that, growing up with that, was like, that's not for me.
I don't want to.
I want to do something that I enjoy getting up every morning and be like, yeah, this is fun. Oh, I get to do this today.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted. So like money didn't matter. it was just more or less, it was at least my path at the time, it was just, I want to go, I want to go get my cup filled and be able to feel good about it and enjoy it and look forward to the fun stuff. So it's fun, So people go, well, what do you do for work? Well, I get to talk about Taylor Swift. It's like
many people are talking about Taylor Swift for free.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I
Make
get
a
to get
job
paid
out of
for
it. Yeah.
And Chattanooga has been so great in the sense of really offering huge opportunities.
And I think the audiences here are very interactive. Like, it seems like, with radio or, even some of like the local music scene, artist scene, like it's just a very interactive, interested group of people.
It can be. It's an interesting crowd. I don't know how much experience you have with doing events and things of out nature. Chattanooga is a last minute city. They make all their decisions of what they're going to do last minute.
Okay.
That's what I've learned.
Okay.
So in the beginning, we would set up an event and we wouldn't get any ticket sales or even people to sign up for a free event. And it was just like, whoa, okay, are we not doing it?
Is this flopping?
And then that last 3-4 days, people are, boom, they all come.
You know what?
So that was
I think
something I had to learn.
started doing that a little bit because I'm a planner, but I've noticed the longer I live here, the more I'm like, oh, well, what's happening this weekend?
Right.
And that is not how I arrived here. They've changed me.
They've changed it. Well, the thing is, and this is so rare for other cities, I think. I know there's other cities that are very interactive and great, but at least in my experience, even compared to LA, Chattanooga is always something happening.
Yeah.
There's just something going on for everybody. There's always an event. There's always some type of mixer. There's always some type of show.
Food event.
Wine event. I mean, it's incredible in that sense. So I get it. I don't think people want to lock themselves in weeks in advance because they know, well, if something else pops up.
Ah, that's a good point.
It's not a bad thing to like. I don't think they mean it in a malicious way.
Sure.
I think they're just saying, well, we'll see what happens. But I'll put it on my little thing. I'll mark it on Facebook.
Possible.
If
Interested.
it pops up.
Yes.
It pops up. So I've learned that to not be harsh in the beginning and kind of learn that it's going to take a little time for people to get into it. And sometimes we have events that aren't necessarily the biggest events, but we have our diehards that come out to everything. And
loyal fans.
And it's been great. And to be working with a station like Hits 96 that is super active in the sense of getting those events done. I don't know, sure if you're familiar, but we do a big event every spring called the Running of the Chihuahuas.
I do not know anything about this. Are actual dogs involved?
Actual Chihuahuas. Apparently, and unbeknownst to me, there is a huge community of Chihuahua owners in Chattanooga and the surrounding area.
This is amazing.
I'm talking hundreds of dogs.
Really?
So what they decided to do, and it started off way before my time, but it started off as a Cinco de Mayo radio bit.
Okay.
Where one of the DJs had a couple friends that had, and I might be paraphrasing the story, I don't know the exact tale, but this is what I've been told over the years.
The Chihuahua owners will write to the show.
They'll let us know.
We will
let
show
us know.
Any
but there was a guy named Brad, I'll give him credit, Brad, and he ended up having some friends, from what I understand, that had a bunch of Chihuahuas. He thought it'd be a funny bit to race them in the parking lot of the radio station, do a little radio bit type of thing. This is years ago.
This is amazing.
Almost 16, 17 years ago.
Okay.
So it just started off as this fun thing.
Yeah.
And as the years went on, more and more people, friends and not friends, now wanted to be involved. So they did it a couple of years in the parking lot. Then they ended up switching to some type of warehouse because they needed more space.
Right.
After that, I think they went to the First Horizon Pavilion, and it's been there ever since.
Oh my goodness.
And it grew so big that we've had different artists come and perform before the dogs, because the dogs is the highlight. If we did the dog, I guess they experimented one year and they did the races, then the bands, and everybody left after the races.
Right. Yeah.
So they don't do that anymore. The bands perform first.
That's so funny. They are like the opening act.
They're the opening act for Chihuahua, and we make sure we tell the artists. We've usually introduced like up and coming artists. I don't know if you're familiar with a band named AJR, but AJR, probably our biggest band that has come through. It was before they were AJRs, before anybody knew who they were. They were AJR, but they weren't like huge at the time. They had like maybe 1-2 songs that we were playing. And then now they're huge.
They had their breakthrough at the
Chihuahuas, one of their biggest events. And there's a couple other groups that people would know of. And over the years, if anybody's familiar with the history of Hits 96 that's listening or watching, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just grown every year.
That's amazing. So it's in May?
So it's in May. We have one coming up May 3rd this year.
Okay, maybe I'm going to do a New England thing and buy a ticket in advance.
Yeah, May 3rd. Well, the greatest thing about the Chihuahuas is that's a free event.
Okay.
So we do a free event, so you don't have to worry about any tickets. You can just show up, and we're there all day at the pavilion. We're going to have some bands come in. Well, we haven't decided what we're doing on music this far. I will say the planning stages have begun. Last year, for the first time ever, we did all local bands.
Oh, I love that.
Because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get bands that people know to come because they're all on tour on themselves. Right, Of course, they need to get paid. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. It's just very frustrating. So we decided, since I was doing a local thing, and we can talk about that a little bit too, but I had this roster of hungry local talent that was like, we'll do anything you want us to do. So I pitched the idea. I said, it's a local community event. We do it in the honor of the Humane Society. So they help out. They're like our beneficiary. We don't ask for donations necessarily, but people give at the event. We kind of just spread the awareness of what they're doing. And that's what we did last year. We had 4 wonderful acts representing all genres of music. We had a country artist named Brandon Davis. If you don't know who Brandon Davis is, you got to check him out. He's from Saudi Daisy.
Oh my goodness.
We had Jessica Nicole Brown, who's from Chattanooga. She's actually a member of the Recording Academy. So she could actually win a Grammy if she ever wanted to.
Wow.
Or at least put herself in the running for one. Super talented. She's like an R&B pop artist. Then we had the Afternooners, which is huge here in Chattanooga. They're like an alternative band. They have a cool vibe, such a great group of guys. They've been doing their thing for a while. And then our one of our bigger artists, he wasn't our headliner. Brandon was our headliner, but Quattro Cinco, who has experience here in Wavelength Studios. And he killed it. Oh my! And he's a hip hop artist. And he was just so amazing. Really stole the show. Everybody did so well, but it was his show. And they just loved it, and it was a big thing. And it was so great because representing all of the different genres of music, which is what Top 40 should do, in my opinion. And to make it a local base. The people came out, not just for the dogs, but they actually came out this time to support the artists. And it was so great. And I think Trey, who's recording with us, he was there. And there were so many people that came out. It was just an awesome moment. And for me, Quattro and the others came up, and they almost had tears in their eyes about how happy they were about that moment, about being able to come in and have that moment to be a highlight. And Quattro told me himself, it was kind of almost a dream of his to be this artist, and he waves the flag of Chattanooga so strong. I mean, he's Chattanooga forward. And he goes, this is something that I've always wanted to do. Not so much, maybe not Chihuahuas, but an event like Chihuahuas. And he killed it. It was so much fun. Wonderful. So we're hoping to do that again. I'm pushing in that angle again. We haven't made any final decisions, but we'll keep everybody posted. They can check out.
We have our vote, I'm sure.
Yeah. So I think we're going to do that too. And we've been working a lot now with local artists as well. I mean, we still interview the big artists that come through, and when I have those opportunities, because that's what we are, Top 40. So we we play Taylor and The Weeknd and everything else. But we do like to support local artists as well. I have a podcast now that it started off as a radio segment, but then it became a podcast because I wanted to give them more exposure to the artists, because they were coming in. We had 6 minutes. So they had come in 6 minutes. We would talk for 6 minutes, play their song on the radio, and then they had to go. And a lot of the times we would go longer than 6 minutes, and then I'd get yelled at. So it was like,
I need another space for this conversation.
I just wanted it to be bigger. So what we do is we do now full, however long the interview goes, 45 minutes to an hour. We get to play 3 of the artist songs when it comes to local to highlight. And then one of them gets to play it on the radio, and then I take sections of the interview and air that on the radio. So
that's very cool.
We're in a world right now, and I'm sure you've learned this too, of like I call it a TikTok world. Everything's short, bite-sized. They just want the little clip. They want this, they want that. And radio's the same way, or trying to be that way, because if you go any much longer than a few minutes, if you're not playing a song, they will shut you off. They have that power, so you're trying to keep them on the dial as long as you can. So that's why that kind of is the point of view of doing that.
So you tuck it over for people who have like a little bit more of an appetite to learn a little bit more.
So that's the point. So we play it on the radio. We get to play their song. That's the one thing that I've always wanted to do for artists, especially local artists, because they don't have those opportunities, is to play their song on the radio. Give them a section of our website so they can share it with their friends, and it just looks good. And it's the coolest thing, I think, and maybe I'm a little biased since it's my my idea, but you're getting up there and being played next to artists like Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran and all these big pop names. Your songs are in the mix with all of that.
What an amazing feeling for them.
Yeah, and it's just cool. And I tell them, I did tell them, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I do tell them, just because you're going to get your song on the radio doesn't mean you instantly become famous.
Right.
I want to preface that first, especially within today's age. That might have been a thing way back when, way before my time.
Right.
But it's just an opportunity to say, I had a song on Hits 96. It's a top 40 radio station.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to do events with these local artists so we can promote them more. And it's just fun. And Chattanooga seems to be a great place that does kind of support their local music.
Yeah.
With all of the different organizations that have been involved and the different festivals they put on. And so it's like, it just made sense to me when I moved here and saw this. That was like, I have to get in on this part of it because it's just something that's really entertaining. I have a wonderful relationship with the Barrel House Ballroom. Hits 96 works with us all the time. We've done numerous shows there when we bring artists to town, and I'm always talking with the local artists if they perform there. In fact, last night, I'm not sure if you've heard of an artist. His name's Monrovia.
I don't think so.
You have to look
now
up.
I have to. I have like a list I'm queuing of all the artists to
He
look
has
up
over 720,000 followers on Instagram, probably even more on TikTok. He was born in Liberia. He's the first episode of my podcast, which actually drops later today.
And what's the name?
It's called the Proximity Playlist.
Okay, guys.
Because all of the artists are in our proximity.
I love
That's the name. So that's a play. And the idea is you meet these artists and you add them to your playlist, your proximity playlist.
Yeah. And
we get to talk with them. But he did an abridged episode. We were trying to get him on and scheduling and stuff because he just kicked off a tour last night, and now he's gone all over the Southeast.
Wow.
He's a little bit of I don't want to call it a sleeper sound, but it is a sleeper sound in a sense. It's like not the most exciting when you first listen to it. You're kind of like, it's actually wonderful vibe music. You might even kind of want to take a nap to it.
Yeah.
But when you start really listening to it and you put it on a few times, the man has this magical voice, and he plays everything on the ukulele.
Oh.
And it's very easy sounding, and it's just amazing. And so I went to his show last night. I've never seen a bigger crowd at the Barrel House Ballroom.
Wow.
There was people out the door all around the building just to get in, and it was packed. And he just sat up there with his friends, and they played songs, and it was just so cool. So he'll be the first episode in at least this new year of the podcast, and there's a lot more that I've been working with and setting things up.
Yeah.
So, and I love it. That's where I am getting everything I want.
I'm getting that energy.
Be able to introduce these artists to people. And I like the new artists too that come, national artists that come through, sure. I like introducing people to music, period. But when I can have a little bit of a personal connection, when I know that they're from Chattanooga, that their friends are tuning in.
Yeah.
Coolest thing we did when we did the Running of the Chihuahuas, and if I'm talking too much, I apologize.
You're perfect.
Okay.
You're great.
I don't get to sit on this side of the table often. So one of the coolest things we did when it came to Chihuahuas, and I brought up Quattro, is we would play their songs. They get their songs added to our playlist because they're supporting us, so they're a supporting act. So we would play their songs occasionally throughout the day. Usually we only play a local song once, so people can tune in for that, and then they know. But since you became a member of our Chihuahuas, we kind of highlight you throughout the day. And people were hearing it, obviously, more, because it's not just once. And they were actually taking videos of their radios. So they would pull up their phone, they're in their car, and they take it, and it would say 96.5, Quattro Cinco, or Jessica Nicole Brown. And what they were doing is they were sharing it on social media and sending it to these artists. And it was just such a cool thing, a cool moment.
Yeah.
In fact, there was one that was so wild. There was a car dealership that was taking pictures of the inside of their cars. You know how they do that, and they post them, you know, my car looks like this, whatever. They had the radio on 96.5 with Quattro Cinco, and they took a photo. Didn't mean to do that, and somehow it got back to Quattro. And he shared that post of that car because it's just,
that's me.
Yeah, it was just one of these wild, you know, cool moments. And that's the fun. That's
so
really
much exposure.
What lights me up. That's what excites me, is to do that. And then all the other events that we throw and giving prizes away. I feel like Santa Claus every day. It's just great. It's just great.
It seems like you've found a way to kind of exponentially multiply your experience with that one professor who you said broke the glass for you.
For sure.
And you're just down here in Chattanooga just shattering glass everywhere.
That's it.
Yeah. I love that.
It was one of those things. It really was. That conversation with that man. Again, I've never reached back to him. I guess I didn't know how much of an impact it was until having a few conversations like this. I probably should try to look him up just to thank him.
If anybody knows Professor Stern
from
Salem
State, it would be university now.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to think, that would be 2005, 2006, around that time.
Yeah.
He did public speaking. That's all I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the one that kind of at least changed my path and showed me that it was possible, or I could do something else.
Well, he saw you and he called something out in you that maybe had been present all along, you said, from childhood, but you just need someone to kind of underline
make it a reality.
Yeah.
It was really what
and
it
say,
was.
this is actually how you do it.
Right.
You can make money and have a career.
Yeah, and you can actually do something and go for it. And then then from there to be brought into a school up in Maine, I give NESCOM all of the glory it deserves, all the honor, because it really was just a eye-opening experience to be able to go and learn the actual craft with the actual people. And all of the teachers there were former or present radio people.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
they had credibility.
They had credibility.
Yeah.
They knew the game.
Yeah.
They understood what you were trying to do, and they could teach it in that way. I always give the school so much credit, because that's really where I got the bug. And that's when I was like, wow, this is amazing to be able to do this. And they let me interview. One of my first interviews ever for a big name was the Dropkick Murphys. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
No.
They're like an Irish band.
Okay.
They're wild. They're like a rock band, so bear with me. But they had a great song called Shipping Up to Boston, which was in a movie and everything.
Wow.
People know who, trust me, people know who Dropkick Murphys are. But my first interview was in college. I interviewed them. I was so nervous.
I was going to say, how nervous were you?
I mean, I was almost shaking nervous.
Okay.
I was just like, oh my gosh. And it was like a 5-minute interview, and it wasn't even like the lead singer of the band or anything. It was like, I think they're bassist. Nothing against him, but it was just like the side thing. But after that, I was like, yep, I'm done. I'm sold.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do. And I've been able to interview so many people since. It's just been crazy. In fact, I forget about some of them. So I have a whole list on my computer and on my phone of all of the people, because I forget. I mean, 2 years ago when we had Moon River Festival here, I was able to sit down with Hosier.
Wow.
I don't know if you know who Hosier is, but he is just the epitome of a rock star.
Yeah.
And he was the sweetest man I've ever met. He introduced himself, his real name is Andrew, and he introduced himself as Andrew, as if I didn't know who he was. You know what I mean? It's like, he's the headliner of this festival.
Right.
We're all here to see him.
Yeah.
And he came up and he's like, oh, hello, nice to meet you. My name's Andrew. And I was like, I know exactly
we know who you are.
And then there's been Teddy Swims was another I get to interview.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I interviewed Jax when she was doing that big Victoria's Secret song that came out a little while ago. Charlie Puth. It just goes on and on and on. It's been so much fun.
Do you have a favorite interview?
Hosier is up there.
Okay.
There's just no question.
Yeah.
He was just one of the coolest moments in my life, was to be able to sit down with him for 20 minutes and just chit chat.
Did anything surprise you, or did you learn anything new?
Just how cool he was.
Yeah.
It really was. That was the big thing.
You're a great person.
You're just a cool
and
guy.
A great artist.
And I feel like I could talk to him about anything. That was the vibe that I got. He was just so down to earth.
Yeah.
So he's definitely one of my highlights. I mean, they've all been great experiences. I haven't had a horrible radio interview or a horrible interview when if it's gone the other way. People always ask, well, any awkward interviews? And it really hasn't been that way. I get the buffer of they know that they're being recorded. They know that they're being there.
So they're going
to behave themselves.
Yeah.
So even if they're having a bad day, they're still going to pull it together and be good. So, but Hosier is definitely a top moment. I've interviewed a few comedians that have kind of followed over the years, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
The Impractical Jokers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They have a great little TV show. I've been able to interview 2 out of the original 4. For some reason, that's been a huge highlight for me. Just to say
well, you do like comedy. We talked about that before we got on.
Yeah,
you are active in improv.
Yeah. So that was another thing that I was able to dive into in my time here in Chattanooga. When I first moved here, it was all work, of course. That's all I knew. And I was looking for an opportunity to kind of branch out, make some friends, and just do something else.
Yeah.
And I love comedy. So it was something that I was looking into, and at the time I didn't even know about comedy clubs that were here or anything. So I was kind of just searching around, and improv comedy popped up in the Google search, and I thought that'd be kind of fun. I've watched Whose Line Is It Anyway, and it's such a fun for me.
Oh my goodness!
So I was like, I can probably see what that's about. And then they weren't doing shows at the time, but they were doing classes, and I was like, well, I'm looking to meet people. That'd be cool, but I'm sure it's expensive.
Yeah.
That wasn't the case. It was like very affordable. I was like, you gotta be kidding. 8-week course to get to do this and have a showcase at the end. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. But I'm sure it's not till like 6 months from now, or they're filled or whatever. And I wrote them, and they said, oh no, we have a class that starts next week if you're in. Like,
the universe was like, here you go.
Well, that's what it was. I really couldn't say no. And I am one of those people, I try not to be, but I do have a tendency to say no before I know anything. I think I like just put myself into a unknown.
It's your New Englander.
I think so. And but I ended up doing it because I think I was in that mode of like, no, I got to go out there.
Yeah, put yourself
and
out
I've been
there.
a member of the troupe. I went through all our classes, and then you become a member, and if you so choose. And we've been doing shows all around, and that's been another opportunity just to be able to go and connect with Chattanooga and to go. I do a lot of the hosting more than the playing. Not that I don't like to play or whatever. Hosting's my wheelhouse. So it's my comfortable zone.
Yeah.
But we do all that stuff all over town. We do free shows and paid shows, and
so fun.
And that's been a fun opportunity as well. And it's so similar, or I've learned a lot on how similar they are to radio. Yeah. Radio is, obviously you have your questions lined up, or you have your game plan, but a lot of it is improv.
On the spot.
It's on the spot. You're moving around, you're just going for it. You're just kind of...
Especially if you do phone, if you take calls.
Course, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you just never know what they're going to throw at you. So that's the fun of that, and I think I have learned in both cases that they're so aligned, and it's helped me in radio, helped me in improv.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun in that world.
Very interchangeable.
So that's Improv Chattanooga. You have to check us out. Yeah.
So I hope people who are listening and watching are just furiously scribbling notes.
Hopefully. That's the idea. That's the idea. Just trying to get the word out there about what's been going on when it comes to what I've been doing in Hits 96. And why not? Improv Chattanooga as well.
So what's your hope for, your work and your almost like advocacy for new artists in Chattanooga? Like, what do you hope it'll grow into?
Well, I think it's just going to get bigger. I want it to get bigger. I would love to, and I think that's kind of like what I was getting at with the Chihuahuas and doing these local events, is to try to eventually throw events that maybe are just for local artists and give them that showcase, give them that moment to shine, that opportunity to kind of get their word out there. And I know there's so many people and organizations here in Chattanooga that are doing that as well. I'm not saying that I'd be the only game in town. There's a bunch. And I think if anything, we all work together.
The more the better. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
With what they're doing with Nightfall and Riverfront Nights and everything else. It's amazing. I know the whole Riverbend thing is crazy, but that was a great opportunity too for a lot of bands. And Moon River, who knows what will happen if it ever returns, but those are the type of things that are so great. I just want to be a bigger part of that community and to be into it and to do what I can. And what I have over all the others is that radio outlet.
Right.
And that platform to be able to say, okay, we got...
Meet my new friend.
Meet my new friend, And that's what I like to do with the local music, too, is to give them opportunities to perform and just give them an outlet and see what they can do with it. And then I know Quattro has, since doing all that, and I'm not trying to give away any of his business, but Quattro has been able to talk to some people because of his involvement in running of the Chihuahuas and stuff. So his career has moved on to a new level, and there's a few others that are asking and wanting, exciting. And I'm trying to make those connections. Yeah. I'm not going to make you famous, but I can probably hopefully introduce you to someone that might.
Well, and
that's the thing.
Somebody will hear your music, and it'll be just the right person at the right time.
That's the idea. That's the idea. We've had numerous artists come through, and what they loved about it was, because everything we do on the radio we post on our website. So if somebody want more information, or if they want to hear the interview again or whatever, but then now they can come and they're part of the search engine. Oh. So Quattro Cinco, we'll use him as an example. If he comes on and you type in Quattro Cinco, all of his Hits 96 stops will pop up. So it gives them an opportunity to be seen. So when they start sending out their name to other people, labels, shows, whatever,
something shows
gives
up.
them a little bit of credibility.
Yeah.
That if you can pop up in a Google search, that's pretty good. That's what you want.
On
a top 40 radio station, it's a pretty good trade-off.
Or a Chihuahua event. Because, that's pretty special.
Our events are so fun. Chihuahuas is definitely our Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's no denying that.
How could it not be?
It's amazing. The people are so into it. We've had dogs that have been returning champions.
Oh, my
They get a big trophy at the end.
Oh, my goodness.
It's a great thing. You really have to come out.
I really do. This is amazing.
It's an all-day event.
Yeah.
We start, I think, around like 11 or noon time, and we have a couple of the bands, and we have some other things. Last year, we did this thing called Running of the Rescues. So not just Chihuahuas, but all the dogs that were up for adoption ran a race as well to show. And they're not as good as the Chihuahuas, I will say that. But they did it, and it gave an opportunity to everybody to see these dogs run. And the dog that won was adopted that day.
Oh, my goodness.
Right there was a win for us.
I feel like you are squeezing every bit of goodness out of this event.
Try.
Like, it's for the dogs. It's for
I
the
milk it for all it's worth.
It's for the adoptions. It's for the new artists.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with radio right now in general. Radio's been having, some people have said that radio's been having the longest funeral ever, right? So since TV came out, people were like, radio's done. It's still here. It's still evolving. It's still changing. Now, could it evolve faster? Yes. Sure. I think local media in general, on the TV side of things and the radio side of things, is almost being forgotten about in a sense. It's still there. It's weird. It's not that it's being forgotten about, but I think people don't remember that they know about radio.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's been taken for granted at this point. Radio's just always been in your car, and I know a lot of people will switch to their phones, listen to Spotify, and whatever the case. I do it too. It's instant gratification. Sure. But if that phone dies, or you forget it, or you don't have the right cable, or whatever the case may be, you turn on the radio and it's there for you. You walk through some of these local stores, they're playing our radio stations. So it's like always there. And I think sometimes people just kind of take that for granted and don't really understand that it's, actually, that's a good tool. That's something.
We have to keep it alive.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'd like that at least for a few more years before I have to hang up the mic and go home. But no, I think it's keeping it alive and evolving. And I think there's been some decisions made on a much grander scheme than me of, I think radio people, especially the ones that were in control, wanted to kind of not change a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of hurt us in a sense of being able to, and I don't have any answers, by the way. I hate bringing up problems with no solutions, but I know that there are some out there, and I think it's just bringing up the awareness and doing stuff that I'm trying to do that will help bring that local crowd to the radio. I think that is the lifeblood, though, of radio, is that locality.
Well, and I think, like, one thing I love about the conversation we're having right now is I think that so many people turn on the radio and they hear, like, angry voices or negativity or people being unkind about other people, whether it's being unkind about celebrities they've never met or, telling stories. And there's so much that's not building people and not, like, bringing us closer together.
I agree.
And so I think, it's important to have these kind of conversations of, like, well, what is possible? Because it's just a form of media. It's not bad or good. It's what you do with it. And if you're doing it to, shine a spotlight on people who have talent and are producing wonderful things that just nobody knows about yet.
Right.
I think that's great.
That's great.
Or bringing, awareness to causes or, putting music out there that just makes people feel happy. On the mental health side, we know that music is directly impactful on mental health and, mood and emotions. And so I think that, it's a wonderful thing to have a conversation that highlights all that it can be.
Yeah, the positivity of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I agree. I mean, and I think we went through a time, too, of negative or controversial was what people were tuning in for. I think there was a little bit of they called it the shock jock era. I mentioned him earlier, Howard Stern and all of that. That was a time. The guy made millions of dollars doing it. There was something to that. I think because of the times have changed now, even Howard doesn't do the stuff that he was doing years ago because it just doesn't fly the same way.
Right. Things haven't aged well.
So on Hits 96, our biggest goal is to always be somewhat positive.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny. I don't like every single song we play. You can't like every single song I play. But I know somebody listening loves that song. So I'm not trashing anybody, no matter what. Right. I just don't, you just do it. So anytime you turn into Hits 96, it should be a positive experience. Yes, we have fun. People make jokes. One of our talents, intern Alex, who's a Hits 96 legend in his own right. He's been doing it for a long time, way before me. He's part-time now. He kind of transfers back and forth. But his whole shtick is he kind of pokes fun at the artist and does that thing. But it's his shtick, but it's all in fun. It's positive.
It's not like unkind or like, it's not cruel.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the whole thing is. And now to do these events, and I mean, I love giving prizes away. I said that earlier. It's one of those things that's like, if it's not interviewing artists and introducing new music, it's giving prizes and playing games.
Okay.
So we do all types of fun little giveaways and stuff like that. And that is just an absolute blast as well. Even when we go out to events, we usually bring like a Plinko board or we bring a big wheel for them to spin. And that's just the best part, is just going out and interacting. And since we are a small local station, we try to live up to that. You know, everybody says live and local. We live up to it. We are still live on the radio. I go into the studio 2 to 7. I'm not some pre-recorded voice that's in Vegas or LA somewhere, which a lot of the radio stations, I'm not hating that. That's good for them. But some stations you're going to tune into, you're not going to learn about what's happening in Chattanooga. Right. I'm sure you're familiar with Nougat Today and what they do.
I love them.
I do a segment with those girls every week. They call in every Thursday. We call it 3 Things to Do This Weekend. And they give me
They're literally where I'm like, okay, I have to go to this restaurant. I have to do this thing. I have to attend
one of the best resources in town is nougattoday.com.
If you are new to Chattanooga,
oh my gosh,
you have to follow them on social media.
It's unbelievable. And when I read this website and I was like, I need this, should be on my show. This needs to be part of what, because I'm taking all their stuff anyway. I'm talking about it. Might as well go from the horse's mouth, as they say. So those girls call in, Kristen and Haley, they call in once a week and they give us 3 things to do this weekend. It's a short little bite-sized segment. It's like 3 minutes. And they give us the rundown of 3 big events. And then we go to nougattoday.com for more. And that's the type of stuff, like I said, I think that keeps radio alive, because if you tune into some other stations, they're not going to do that, because that guy is not talking to anybody from Chattanooga. He's in LA or he's somewhere else.
Well, these are like accessible things too. What they put out there is things that like anybody can access.
And we make sure to highlight the family friendly, mostly free events. You know, because I know that not everybody has all this time to go buy tickets to a show and all the resources for that. But there's so many little festivals and different types of things, markets that are going on, and it's just
right here in the studio they have First Fridays.
I know they've done so many events
now, and that's super fun, and all the music events. So, you know, if you were thinking about somebody, you know, maybe like who's in the same stage of life you were in your younger self, that like, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't know what to do next. You know, what advice would you have for someone?
My advice, and I know it's difficult, especially I think in this time, in this day and age, I think the younger generation is coming up with that social media vibe of that instant gratification of things. So I just think my ultimate thing is, what makes you happy? I want you to get that cup filled, no matter what it is. And if it's not the most lucrative thing, that's okay. You can, and if you can try to turn it into that, by all means, go for it.
I think more today than ever before. You can turn it into something.
That. Exactly. Like I said, I think I said that earlier. That's kind of the thing that kind of drove me over the years, was just like, I just want to make sure I enjoy what I'm doing each day. Working is a big part of life, whether we like it or not. It's the name of the game. So as long as you're enjoying it, you know, go for it. So that would be my thing is advice. If you're looking to find a career path, if you're looking to start something new, and maybe it's not the career that's going to make you happy, but maybe you can do a hobby or something along the lines that can coincide and can work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to pay the bills. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be like my dad and have to do a laborer job or something that's, might not exactly like. That's great too, but you should be able to balance that with something else that's going to give you that happiness. So that's my first thing. And then, of course, and it's a big rule in radio, especially coming up, is don't say no right away. Try to always learn, have some type of opportunity, say yes. I know it's easier said than done. I say, I think I mentioned it earlier as well. I've been known to say no first before anything else. I'm trying to learn not to do that as much. But I think saying yes and no matter the opportunity, even if you think it's
willing,
being willing to just try it. And if it's something that you feel like is below you, that's okay. It's a skill that you're going to learn. Right. Or if maybe it's something that's going to take you out of your comfort zone, do that as well. So that was my two biggest things that I usually tell people is like, if somebody asks you to do something, you're like, I'm not sure, unless it's going to put you in some type of harm's way, do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Get the experience. You don't have to ever do it again if you don't like it or if it wasn't what you wanted it to be, So again, and I can take that advice every day, I think. It's always that opportunity to kind of just be like, no, you know what, let's push ourselves a little bit and do some stuff. So I think making sure that you're happy with what you're doing, I think that's a huge part of it. It makes getting up very easy each morning because you have something to look forward to. You're doing it that way. And then, when those opportunities come up, don't just say no right away. Try to think it out and make it happen if you can. Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Such great advice. Okay, so tell the audience where to find all the different things. Maybe highlight the Chihuahuas again because I feel like we all need to.
Yeah, the Chihuahuas is going to be huge. It's our 16th year of doing the Chihuahuas. So there is an opportunity up to, and for anybody listening, there's an opportunity on our website now that does mention type of sponsorships and things. So if you have a local business or whatever the case, if you want to get involved in that sense, there's different tiers for different budgets and stuff. But you can have the track can be named after you or something like that. That's how we work. We also do vendor spots because it's not just a race or a concert. It's a race, a concert, and a market. So we have all the vendors that sign up. So if you have a small business, no matter what you sell, it doesn't have to be dog related. You can be a part of it.
You can be a part of this great event.
You can be a part of it. So that's at hits96.com. Also, if you go to that website, that's where you're going to learn about any contest that we're doing. We have this big, we call it the Big Game, Big Party. This is our Super Bowl giveaway that we're doing in honor of the Super Bowl. We call it the Big Game, Big Party for legal reasons, but that's what we do. But we're giving away a giant prize package.
Which makes you very happy.
Which makes me,
you love giving
it's
presents.
one of my favorites to give away. We're giving away matching recliners. We're giving away a 75-inch TV, and then they get a $250 gift card for food. And it's basically, that's your big game party. If you're going to have people over,
that's amazing.
You give them a place to sit, a big screen TV, and food. That's all you need for a big game. So we're doing that in the near future. That actually launches very soon. And then we have so many giveaways that we do throughout the year. So if you're not in tune with that, go to hits96.com. You can also follow us on social media at Hits96 Radio, and you can follow me at Gino D Radio. I do a lot of the hit stuff, but I do other things too, and I'm having fun, and it's just great. So those are the best things. Facebook, of course, is a great tool for us, and that just keeps you in tune of what's happening and what we're doing. And if one giveaway is not for you, and you're like, I'm not really interested, we'll have one eventually down the line.
Yeah.
I mean, being a top 40 station, we work with all of the artists. So any big show that comes around, Bonnaroo is the big festival that's happening, and they've already announced their lineup. We're playing about 80% of those artists. So we have Bonnaroo tickets up for grabs.
Oh, okay,
so there's opportunities like that to win. And then there's some stuff that we don't even talk about on the radio. If you go to the website, you can just sign up and hopefully win. So that's where you want to go for the information is go to our website and then follow us on socials. And we'll keep you updated as much as we can. Yeah,
and then where can they find your podcast?
The podcast is also, it's wherever you find your podcast. You can get it everywhere. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Music. The actual link is on our website as well, hits96.com. There's a little button there that says Proximity Playlist. You click that. There's already, I think we have 16 artists as part of our first season. So there's episodes there to listen to, new music that you can and dive right in and enjoy. And I'm talking all artists. I talk to country artists, hip hop artists, R&B, pop, ukulele. I mean, the guy, it's incredible. He wasn't part of the podcast, but there was this group that wrote out to me, and they do cigar box guitars. So they build these guitars out of things that you can find in your house.
Yeah.
And they came on and did a little bit with me on the radio, and it's just like, I'm so open.
Yeah.
I will say that there is a little bit of a process. If you're a local musician and you're looking to get on the podcast, you do have to send in a submission. We can't let everybody on. It's just not enough time or bandwidth, I guess. So there's a little bit of a process. There's me and a few others that kind of listen through the music, and if we feel like there's some type of promise in the song, then we play it. We don't, not every song's created equally. Yeah. I know they do wonderful things here at Wavelength. If you tell me it's at Wavelength, you guys would probably get it because it's going to sound amazing. But there's, not every song is created equally. So we have to do quality. We have to have some type of quality control. Exactly. And we're looking for artists that do have a little bit of a following on socials, because that's going to help not only us but you, because you want to get the word out there about that. And we're looking for artists too that kind of have a little bit of a repertoire, a little bit of a package already, because that's a big part of this game, especially nowadays.
If you're trying, you don't want to promote before you're ready.
Exactly. Yeah. And and I've had people come on and they have a great song, and then they rate back and they say, "Hey, wait a second, nothing happened." I can only play it for you. I play the song. I think it's good enough. I think it's worthy enough, or we think it's worthy enough. But then after that, if they're going to look for more, if you don't have anything else to show them, people are just going to lose interest.
Yeah.
So, and I try to tell the artists too that sign up, because some people just want to do it and be on the radio, and I'm like, I want you to use it as a promo opportunity.
Right, use it when you're ready.
If you have a show coming up, if you have an album being released, a music video, something that people can kind of sink their teeth into and be a part of, that's the call to action that people are looking for.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a hard thing for some artists, because they just want to get it going. I was like, I just want to go. It's like, yeah, but if you have a new EP coming out, let's wait for the EP to come out, so then people can go and find it later. Yeah. Instead of saying, I have an EP coming out in June and here it is January, then nobody...
Right. So there's like some strategy.
There should be.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I've been trying to teach, I guess, when the artists sign up. It's so funny talking to artists. Some are just so... have had a taste of the professionalism, have understood the game a little bit more, and maybe it's experience, age, who knows. But then there's others, it's like, I got 2 followers. I just made an Instagram account, and I have this one song, and I'm working on others that will be out. It's like, well, then let's wait for the others to come out. Let's give them a package. Give them something that I can post about. So when we get to that point, they're going to find the next song.
Yeah, so you get traction.
There should be some strategy. Yeah, you should have that. You should have a little bit of a catalog. And I'm not asking, I know that these are local artists and it's tough. I'm not saying that it's not, but you should have at least a handful of songs, some type of YouTube channel, something that people can go and visit and learn more. I think people enjoy that.
Yeah.
And it's just because you hear that one song, you're like, well, I want to hear more. Right. I want to hear what else this guy has. And if they go and there's nothing there, well, then
it's not going to do what you
wanted to do. What it could do. And again, radio's not going to make you famous nowadays. It's just not.
Sure.
It's a sad truth. I'd love to say, come on the show and you'll make it. But it's a tool. It's something that you should use to get that exposure. I kid you not. I talk to a lot of people. It's so funny. And I'll say, I do radio. Oh, I don't listen to radio. And then they'll repeat stuff back to me that I've said on the radio. And it's like, wait, you listen? And that's what I meant earlier. I think they just don't take it for granted. I don't think they realize they even listen.
We don't expect you to have a radio.
Yeah, it's it's so funny. It's so funny to me. So people are still listening to radio.
Yeah. Just admit it. Just admit it. You're listening to the radio. You love it. Yeah.
And yes, maybe you're not a diehard listener. Yeah. Maybe you don't listen all the time. Yeah. But some form of your week, you have listened to radio at some point or another. I mean, the average radio listener listens for 15 minutes a day. That's all it is.
Okay.
And a lot of that is just because they're going to work.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And that's why people are always like, well, you guys play the same songs over and over again. Well, it's because we're designed to catch people for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not really... I love that you listen to Hits 96 from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I love that. Yeah. By all means, go for it. Yeah. And there's a lot that do. But at the same time, that it's not designed for that. It's designed for that 15-minute window to catch. And that's why you'll hear the same 5-6 songs, those real powerful Taylor Swifts and stuff. You just hear them over and over again just because that's what people want right now, and that's what we're giving them. And then we'll play maybe a newer song, an older song. In that 15-minute window, if you listen, you should have a good 15 minutes of mixed music. And then after that, we will repeat that 15 because those are like our... Think of it as like a team roster for like baseball. You play your 9 best guys.
Yeah.
So we're going to play those 9 best guys because those are the people that are going to bring in the the audience.
I love that. That's so we learned a lot about radio and new artists. You got quite a bit of a masterclass from Gino D.
Absolutely. And always reach out, any questions or whatever. I can coach the best of my abilities. I also have my own connections that I connect. We had a great band that just reached out. They're called In the Company of Wolves.
We love them. We've had them
Sydney
here.
Sydney's been on the show. She reached out just the other day saying they're looking to kick up their music to another level, and they're really looking to get out there. So I made them some connections, and hopefully, I don't know what will come of it, but at least I'm doing what I can to connect and help.
Gino has friends.
I have some friends.
Yeah,
I have some friends that are doing some cool things.
You're always open to making new friends.
Exactly.
To connect them with your old friends.
Yeah, and that's the whole point, and that's what I want to be, is that type of resource to help out that. I mean, it's because, again, the big artists that we play don't necessarily, they want to be on the radio, of course, but it's the local artists is where I kind of sink my teeth and get to play and be part of the game. That's so the fun of it for me.
Yeah, I can see it brings you a lot of joy.
It does.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful. This is the first podcast that I've been able to do when I'm on this side of the table and being asked questions. Okay. So if I talk too much, I apologize.
You were perfect.
I always love when I interview somebody and they talk a lot. That's the whole point.
Perfect.
That's the whole point. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give her what I think I would want.
It was great.
Some people do kind of close up a little bit and they go, oh, it's been good. And you're like, please expand, talk. So this has been a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll do some more podcasts. This has been a blast.
Absolutely, this is so fun. Thank you for listening, everybody, and you can check out the podcast if you've missed episodes. You can find it on social media and also where you get your podcasts. And take care of yourselves, be gentle, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to How Would You Rate Your Pain? Please subscribe on your favorite listening platform so you never miss an episode. And if this show made you think of someone, please share it with them to help us grow. I'm your host, Dr. Tiffany Bartell. You can find me on Instagram at the_happy_therapist_. This show is not intended as medical advice and should not take the place of therapy or other mental health services. Please consult with your doctor or mental health provider about your own health. You deserve all the support. How Would You Rate Your Pain is co-produced by Wavelength Studios and Chattanooga Podcast Studios and is part of the Podnuga Network. Graphic design provided by Josh Wilhelm at JW Creates and music by Michael Crosa. I'm Dr. Tiffany Bartell. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time right here on How Would You Rate Your Pain?